The diplomatic rift between Australia and Israel has widened after Israel's foreign minister revoked the visas of the Australian representative to the Palestinian Authority. He's instructed the Israeli embassy to carefully examine any official visa application. In a lengthy post, Mr Sa'ar says it follows Australia's decision to recognise a Palestinian state and refusal to grant visas to a number of Israeli figures, adding, while anti-Semitism is raging, the government is choosing to fuel it by false accusations, as if the visit of Israeli figures will disrupt public order and harm Australia's Muslim population. Penny Wong returned fire, criticising the unjustified decision, as she called it, to revoke the visas, saying at a time when dialogue and diplomacy are needed more than ever, the Netanyahu government is isolating Israel and undermining international efforts. It's an unjustified reaction, she said. Susan Lee, the opposition leader, claims the government is damaging relations with Israel.
Well, I really regret the way that the relationship between the Albanese government and the government of Israel is deteriorating. That is something all Australians should be very sad about today.
Let's go live to the Shadow Cabinet Secretary, Andrew Wallace, who joins us regularly. Andrew, thanks for your time. Is this an overreaction from the Israeli authorities and Foreign Minister? Is it counterproductive? Isn't it better to keep those diplomatic links open?
Well, Kieran, I don't think any Australian would be surprised at this news today, to see this sort of tit-for-tat arrangements that are now going on between the Australian government and the Israeli government. We shouldn't be at all surprised because of the reaction that the Australian government has taken in the unilateral decision to recognise the state of Palestine, a break of bipartisanship for decades in this country. I'm with Susan Lee on this. I'm really disappointed. I'm incredibly disappointed that this government seems to be trashing our international relations, not just with Israel, but also with the United States, our most important ally. But clearly things are very, very crook in the relationship between Israeli government and Australian government. And I think Penny Wong needs to take a look in the mirror as to why this is happening.
Well, indeed, the government standing by that decision. But let's turn our attention back home now. The government's got its roundtable on productivity, its economic reform plan. Your colleague Ted O'Brien is there. Do you think that this is a good step, at least have the talks with representatives from the business community, unions, academia, right across the board?
Well, I think it's always good to have that dialogue with industry leaders. I'm looking forward to some tangible outcomes, hopefully, that will come out as a result of these discussions. I think it's really important that Ted is in the room. Ted will be a good voice for a reason. I know there's a lot of discussion, particularly around productivity in the construction sector. I'm a former builder. If you want to start anywhere, the construction sector is one of the, if not the largest employer in the country, and it is drowning in red tape. It now takes twice as long to build a house, not just because of the size, but because of the red tape that councils and state governments put builders through, twice as long as it did 30 years ago. And that's with the advent of all of our new and great materials that we use, power tools, nail guns, etc., etc. Takes twice as long to build a house. It's absolutely crazy.
When we hear about new technology like, the modular homes that are actually built, pre-built structures and so on, take 5 to 6 weeks to put up, is that the sort of thing we've got to look to more and more to fill and close that housing gap?
Well, clearly the country is going through a housing crisis from north to south, east to west at the moment. We just simply are not capable of building enough homes for the amount of people that have been brought into the country over the last 3 years. This government has brought in 1.2 million people, and we couldn't keep up with the number of houses that needed to be built to house Australians as it was, let alone to be bringing in that number of people. So we do need to look at alternative methods. not just from a speed perspective, but from a cost perspective. You know, the average mortgage now on the Sunshine Coast, and I'm sure it's similar in other areas around the country, is $750,000 for an average sort of 3 or 4 bedroom home. So we've got to look at doing things differently, and importantly, we've got to get people into homes more quickly. We've got to ensure that we cut the red tape that builders and developers have to go through.
Yep, indeed. Well, it looks like it will be one of the outcomes. Shadow Cabinet Secretary Andrew Wallace, thank you for your time today. We'll talk to you soon.
Authorised by Andrew Wallace, LNP, Boccarina, Queensland.